Well, hey everybody, what's happening? Here he is, Miss America. Wearing my cyclone hat given to me by Joel, Broadway Joel, who I thank immensely for this awesome hat. This is Green Bean. Welcome to Greenbean's Jetspod episode 23. I am now in upstate New York at a campground where I have really very little idea exactly where I am. I think I'm somewhere in the Poughkeepsie area. Nice mountainous terrain, trees. There is a river, a brook. It's like a stream, really. You know, there's a difference between brooks, streams, rivers, things like that. Did you know that? They're not all the same. There was another one I wanted to say. What was it? River, brook, stream, I don't know. But that's probably a stream. So what's happening? We have an interesting week. I'll share with you first that I am sick. I am fighting something, but it's been cool, and I'll tell you why. This past year, this 2020 craziness, right? It's like anytime anybody had a sniffle or anything like that, it was immediately thought to be COVID, the pandemic. So I am, I've gotten tested numerous times. I have the vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson New York Jets vaccine, by the way, Jets. If you're going to be a real fan, you know what I mean? So I'm pretty good. And, I was around a lot of kids, and some of the kids had sniffles and all that sort of stuff. And nobody, people have gotten tested. Nobody had COVID or anything like that. But it's been kind of weird to have a cold and not think you're going to die. It's like the world is crazy. Like it switched and became this thing. And it's nice just to kind of look. I got some Dayquil. And I'm making it through the day, like the olden days, right? You feel crappy, but you got to go to work. You take a Dayquil and you go. That's the way it is. Ooh, see that? Look at that. It's all shaking. My whole little house here. That was weird. So I've been fighting it. It's tough to travel when you're fighting some sick. So we went to Allentown, Pennsylvania last week, just a few days ago actually, and we went to Dorney Park, and it was 40 degrees. It was I think, what's today? Well, it was 2 days ago. It seems like a lifetime ago. But it was 2 days ago. It was the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, and it was 40 degrees and raining. And I was going on roller coasters. And what happens when you do that? You get sick. You get sick. You catch a little something. You get a cough. You get the sniffles. You get maybe a little sore throat. And that's what's going on. But then having to travel with all that, it's not easy, guys. I'm getting old. I'm getting older here. I remember back in my 20s, and then I used to get all hammered or whatever, and I'd catch a cold or whatever. I would just do it. I'd go back. I was up in the morning working my ass off at some construction site or whatever. I just do it. And now it's like, wah. That's how I feel. Wah. Which interestingly will be a fantastic segue into our first topic today. Let's talk about our former marquee free agent, Mr. Le'Veon Bell. Ooh, look at this guy. So Le'Veon Bell is in the news this week. And somehow, even though we cut him in the middle of last year, somehow this is Jets news, right? Because what is he doing? He's saying that the Jets suck so bad we ruined his career. We ruined his career. Now, this is one of those things where it's funny. It's like, it brings me back to an older time when it's like, I could talk about my family, but you can't talk about my family. You know what I mean? Like, I can say my father's this or my mother's that, but you can't say that. When you say that, I got to defend it. And that's what I find myself wanting to do. It's like, I can talk about Adam Gase and sucking. I can talk about the Jets' mismanagement of the last, especially 2 years. But when this guy goes out there and says it, I feel like throwing a big F-bomb his way. Who are you, buddy? That said, Let's talk about with an objective mindset. Let's talk about what might be true and what might be not true, what might be false, and let's see what's really going on here. Okay, so Le'Veon Bell's in the news. It says on Thursday he took to social media to provide some insight into just how bad the Gase era was. Just how bad. Thank you. We needed, this was something I was definitely seeking. More insight into the Gase era. I thank you, Le'Veon Bell, for providing us this insight. This is going to be great. I had very little idea of what it was really like. So thank you. I'm not sure exactly how it started, but we'll just get into it and see exactly what this looks like. It doesn't really matter, the lineage, the chronological order of it all. But so Bell is in a conversation with some people on Twitter, some Jets fans. So NYJ Mike, who I've talked to on Twitter. What's up, Mike? Mike gets in there and says, Lev was an awesome Jet off the field, and Adam Gase is a psychotic scumbag, but saying no opportunity is unfair. Bell was 8th in the NFL with 311 touches in 2019 in 15 games. Bell had 39% of the Steelers' touches in 2017 and 36% of Jets' touches in 2019. Rooted hard for Lev, but I don't know. So there it is. I think that was in response to Le'Veon Bell saying, I had more touches in 2017 for the Steelers than I had my entire time with the Jets. That's what I meant by opportunity, weirdo. So, all right. So then Le'Veon Bell responds to NYJ Mike, and he says, I don't consider a halfback dive on 3rd and short or 4th and short every time is an opportunity. We line up and they calling out the play. That's not opportunity. On top of the play being a dive, I can't make shit shake with that. Now, is it untrue? No. We talked about how unimaginative Adam Gase was, and it was, we talked about this ad nauseum. So he's not wrong. He's not wrong by saying a halfback dive on 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 isn't an opportunity. Okay, I get you there. But there were plenty of other plays. You know what I mean? Like there were plenty of other plays. Bell didn't get the ball only. That wasn't 311 3rd and 1s. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot more to this. Okay? A lot more to it. But he's not wrong. He's not way out of line here. And we'll get to how out of line he is or he isn't, but as far as what he's saying, he's not wrong. So again, we had that. I had two more touches in 2017 comment. That comment came to Youssef in response to Youssef, who said, you were the Jets starting running back for 2 years. FYM, opportunity. What does that mean? FYM. Fuck your mother? I don't even know what that means. Fool your... Let me see what it means. I'm an old man and I just don't know. I'm an old man for my slang. What is full form? Farmyard manure. Is that what it means? Farmyard manure. Let's look at that and see if that's in the context, if that's what it really means. So, you were the Jets starting running back for 2 years, farmyard manure opportunity. Does that sound right? I don't think it sounds right. Let's look for some more meanings. Let's see here. FYM mean in full form in text. What does it mean? Fuck you mean. Oh, I see. So that's what it means. Or fuck you, motherfucker. Okay. That's what it means. All right. Let's try both of those out. You were the Jets starting running back for 2 years. Fuck you, motherfucker. Opportunity. Is that right? I don't know. That doesn't sound good either. What was the other one? Oh, fuck you mean. Yeah, I think that's what it is. And for us old heads, fuck you mean, it means, what are you talking about? What are you trying to say? Right? Fuck you mean. Fuck you mean, man. That's what it means. So, all right. You were the Jets starting running back for 2 years. Fuck you mean, opportunity. Washed, he says. You're washed up. So that's what washed means. I'm sure it doesn't mean have anything to do with laundry, fabric softener, or any of that. Remember those commercials? I forgot to add the fabric softener. I doubt that's what it is. Washed. Yusef it seems like Yusef is pretty adept at text speak. Fuck you mean. Washed. And that means stuff today. It means a whole bunch of things. Yusef, if you're out there, let me talk to me, man. I could use a translator, an educator for all the little things that you guys say these days. I'm always trying. What the hell is he talking about? I'm trying, but I get it. You know, like my parents did the same thing with me. We said stupid shit too. Not that this is stupid. Although the book 1984 does talk about this. I just want you to know you're falling right in there. But Yusef, if you're out there, let me know. If you got any time for like a tutor, you can tutor the bean. What do you think? That would be nice. Wouldn't it? Me and you, Yusef. So what now is he, what Yusef is trying to say is, look, dude, you had 2 years to prove something. You proved nothing. You know, jumping on with what NYJ Mike said. He's like, you had 311 touches, and you did very little. You looked slow. You looked like you might not have the same juice as you did for the Steelers. And I think you're crying a little bit too much right now. That's what I'm getting from Yusef. And now you add that to NYJ Mike's stats there, a little bit of information. You know, it's painting another side to this. Like, look, we hear you, man. And NYJ Mike said it. Look, nobody's here defending Gase, but come on, buddy. You know? Don't forget what Barry Sanders did for 10 straight years up in Detroit. 10 years. He had no offensive line to speak of. The guy was insane. He was a truly great running back. Great running backs make something out of nothing. And Leveon Bell, the word on him was that he's Hall of Fame caliber. So Hall of Fame caliber would generally be able to do something with what we had going on. Now, it was a bad situation. Don't forget, we've used it to highlight Sam Darnold's difficulties. So it does apply to Le'Veon Bell, too. It does. But FYM. Fuck you mean, man. Come on. This is fun. This is good. So, let's see here. So, Not comes in and says, NOT, M3 Low Star. Or Not, his name is. Oh, Yusef's Twitter handle is YUS3FH, by the way, if you want to talk to Yusef. He seems like he's on our team, guys. So, it's our friend. So the next guy is M3 Low Star, LOSTAR, Not, he calls himself. When they had to chance, since then you've had 3 of the worst years ever by someone who had the potential to be a Hall of Fame running back. Then you decided to chase a ring and still lost. The Pittsburgh system made you. So Low Star here is stepping it up a little bit. Now, Le'Veon Bell replies to that as well. He says, LOL. That means I'm laughing out loud. This is so funny to me. LOL, the only difference with the Steelers was they gave me opportunity. Haven't had that since I left. I probably need to play for a defensive-minded head coach instead of these offensive-minded gurus. Now, this is where it starts to get interesting for me. Now, again, I don't know the order of these. I might have put it out of order. That to me doesn't matter so much. It's still the same information. I doubt there was a true lineage, an adherable timeline to this. You know what I mean? It's just a bunch of random stuff. But so this is when he says, the only difference with the Steelers was they gave me opportunity. Haven't had that since I left. I probably need to play for a defensive-minded head coach instead of these offensive-minded gurus. Now, this is interesting because it no longer is talking about Adam Gase solely, alone. He's not doing that anymore. He just lumped in one of probably the greatest coaches of the era, man. I mean, let's be real. He might end up going down as one of the greater coaches in NFL history. And we're talking about Andy Reid. He is a fantastic coach. Okay? He's been to 2 consecutive Super Bowls. With the Eagles, he went to, I think it was 4 consecutive NFC championship games, something like that. The guy's routinely up at the top of the heap of the NFL. Now, not being able to get the ring and all that, that's the only knock on him. Think about that. The guy is such a great coach that the knock is that he keeps getting there and he can't quite get the ring. But he's one of the top 3 or 4 teams in the league every single year. That's the knock? Shit. FYM. So now Le'Veon Bell is talking about Andy Reid, who, if we need a little history lesson here, when the Jets unceremoniously cut Le'Veon Bell, remember that? We were live on Ryan's show, Matt, Ryan, and myself. We were there, and it was like out of nowhere. Jets cut Le'Veon Bell. It was like, what? We cut him? We didn't even get a 6th? Now, why couldn't we get a 6th for him? Because the contract that Mike McCagnon gave him was absurd, and nobody was going to give that to him. Nobody wanted to take that on. They wouldn't give a 7th to take. They wouldn't give a 7th in 2024 to take that away. They just don't want it. It's that simple. So the Jets being stuck with it, they know, look, this guy's essentially washed up. He who knows? Maybe he pops out of the dark and has a great year. That's fine. But even if he does, whatever he does is not going to be worth the money that we're giving him. I think that year was about $15 million. It was like 13.2. Then there was a $15 million a year or whatever it was. Let's take a look. All right. The way it broke down was that the Jets paid $14.968 million for 2019, and then they paid $13 million for 2020. So Le'Veon Bell's contract originally was a 4-year, $52.5 million contract. In the first year, which was 2019, he got a $14.98 million payday. And then he got a 13 point whatever payday in 2020. So, you look. And that's going to bring us to the next little comment here. Ant D, who is Cusegod, Cusegod on Twitter, says to Le'Veon Bell, the Jets gave you what you wanted. And then he has hashtag we failed you. And Le'Veon Bell says, money-wise, somewhat. Other than that, hell no. Now, so we're going from, Bell saying, okay, the Jets was a bad move for me. Okay, I signed with the New York Jets. Adam Gase was a terrible coach. He was supposed to be an offensive guru, blah, blah, blah. Remember how Bell was talking when he first got here? Oh, man, Adam Gase, he's the kind of guy, he lets me talk, lets me be myself, and all this shit. Who didn't know that was garbage right then? I mean, most of us did. It was like, okay, we're digging deep for something positive here. But, so that was all the stuff being said. Now, he comes back now and he says, all right, Adam Gase was the worst coach I ever played for. I got more touches in 2017 than I did with my years with the Jets and all that jazz. But then he goes and he throws Andy Reid into it. So now he's saying, not only did Adam Gase ruin my career, but I went over to Kansas City where he made a cool mill, after making $13.467 million with the Jets for that year. So he went to, because he already got paid, so he said, let me just go ring chase, right? Let me just go jump on the winning team. So he goes over to Kansas City, and he gets paid $1 million, and he does nothing, okay? Let's take a look at his stats. So Le'Veon Bell played 9 games for the Chiefs. That's what it looks like here. 9 games. He started 2. So he had 63 carries for 254 yards and 2 touchdowns for a 4.4 yard average, 4.0 yard average, right? He had 17 receptions. Oh no, he had 13 receptions for 99 yards. Now, saying that Andy Reid didn't know how to use Le'Veon Bell, you can say that about Adam Gase. You can. And I believe that it's not that Adam Gase doesn't know how to use him, which is probably part of it. But I think that the bigger issue with Adam Gase was that it was the ego thing. He never wanted Le'Veon Bell, and he wanted to be right. Like, so Adam Gase he's on that level. He's that petty. Rather than succeeding, he would rather, prove himself right, blah, blah, blah. See, I never wanted this guy kind of thing. So I think that's really a big part of it, in addition to his ineptitude. So you go over to Andy Reid, the guy who's known for, dude, he's an offensive wizard, okay? He knows how to use players, get people in positions to succeed. He used Bell a total of 63 times in 9 games for a total of 254 yards rushing and 99 yards receiving. And now Bell is saying that gurus don't know how to use him. Now he's got to go to a defensive-minded coach, because that's what Tomlin was, right? So what do you think about that? This is where he starts to lose me. And then with the contract thing, money-wise, somewhat. Well, I think a lot of that comment has to do with his previously created idea of himself. So don't forget, he turned down 14 or so $14 million from the Steelers. They offered him $14 million for numerous years. Now the problem with that, with the contract that he had, was that there were no guaranteed year. It was only 1 year guaranteed. So he didn't want to sign it, sat out the whole year, So he could have played for that $14 million and then felt it out the next year and saw where he was. If he had a great year, he would have warranted it, the whole thing. So when he came to the Jets, let's make no mistake here. That comment, money-wise, somewhat, dude, that was light years away from the next closest offer. He literally took the highest offer because of the decision that he made. Now, I get it. You wanted to make a stand? That's great. Now, again, let's not forget what Le'Veon Bell was trying to do. The way he was used, he was like the second receiver, like he was number 2 in receiving receptions and yards on the Steelers, and the leading rusher. So what he was trying to say was, I am playing 2 positions. I am not just playing 1 position, so I should be paid accordingly. There are other players out there that do the same thing, and we should be in a category of our own. They shouldn't be just running back money or just wide receiver money. There should be a $16, $17 million thing for the guy who plays 2 positions. That's what he was trying to do. Now, in his defense, I applaud that. I do. I applaud it. He's not wrong. And he's saying, hey, man, this is different. You guys are overusing me. Like I said, 2017, he had the most touches in NFL history or something like that. So using that as a comparison tool now, I got more touches in 2017. Yeah, dude, that was absurd. Nobody's ever used anybody like that. So let's not try revisionist history that the Steelers just knew how to use you. They were running you into the ground. That was the tactic. And they have James Conner sitting in the wings, and then when you were toast, they were going to elevate the dude. That's it. That's what they always do over there in Pittsburgh. It's very smart, but I get what he's trying to say. So good. I applaud you for that. But you made a decision, and it backfired in your face. Okay, that's what happened. He didn't come out of the gate and get $16 million. The only reason I even kind of liked the signing at the time was that I thought it was going to be a $15 million thing. And he got it for, it was 13.2, whatever it was. I was like, okay. I mean, because it felt like a deal. But then you find out that who else was talking to him? The Ravens were offering like $6 or $7 million a year. So, yeah, I'll take him for 6 or 7. And then they went and got Ingram for that. And they haven't regretted it for a second. Right? That's what they were offering. They said, wait a minute, Le'Veon Bell can be had for $6 million? Yeah, I'll take Le'Veon Bell for $6 million. Sure. The Jets offered far and away more than anybody else. Now, just because that doesn't adhere with the, you know, the idea that you created, I get it. Sucks, man. I hear you. But so you're trying now to come back and repaint this picture like you were somehow hurt. And this is where it all comes crumbling down, right? We just read these tweets. He's not wrong, specifically and technically. He's not wrong. But the piece that we've removed, or that Le'Veon Bell removed from all this, was that these were your choices. These were your choices. You chose to sit out an entire year because you thought $14 million wasn't enough. You chose to go to the pretty much the worst team in the league as a free agent. You chose to play for Adam Gase after 4 years in Miami. We had all the tape in the world on how he was going to use you. We knew it. You made that choice to sign with Mike McCagnon because it was the most money available to you. Let's not play games here, okay? Now, this is why I like Joe Douglas so much. The guy who got Le'Veon Bell here, remember, the guy, it was a big deal, he was a big reason I came, was Jamal Adams. Remember? Jamal Adams and Le'Veon Bell are very similar guys. Now, when I'm saying that, I want to tell you something. I thought Le'Veon Bell handled himself very well here. I did. He was surprising to me. I thought he was going to be a little bit worse when he was here. He handled himself well. He was not a problem. All those things. I thought he was better than I thought he was going to be, and I give that to him. But players like Trumaine Johnson, Jamal Adams, Le'Veon Bell, Joe Douglas couldn't get rid of these guys quick enough. Darryl Roberts, all these guys, Colecchio Semele. Goodbye. He cut Le'Veon Bell mid-season after paying him. I don't care. I don't want you here. He wanted to end it and rip the Band-Aid off as soon as possible. He said, I'm done. I'm done hearing this guy in the news. I'm done hearing tweets. I'm done with him bowling when he's calling in sick. I'm done. I'm just done with it. And this is exactly why. You look at a guy, consummate pro, while he was here. I'll give it to him. But this is exactly the type of guy that Le'Veon Bell is. He's showing his true colors. That's all that's really happening here. He's showing his true colors. He made choices. I would even venture to say that I support those choices to a degree. I get what you're saying. You took a stand. But when the stand doesn't work out because nobody else came to your aid, Melvin Ingram, all the guys, Todd Gurley, nobody came to your aid and helped you. You sat on the island. Your whole team abandoned you. They all, not abandoned you, they felt you abandoned them, and they all turned their back. They said, dude, we have a chance to do something this year, and you bailed. He lost the respect of his teammates. Nobody came to his aid, and he sat on an island. That's a brave thing to do. It's tough. But it was his choice to do that. He signed with the Jets. He didn't sign with the Jets because of Jamal Adams. Make no mistake. It probably helped him justify it in his head. He signed for the Jets because of money. Now, it wasn't the money that he thought he was going to get. That's fine. That's where that word somewhat comes in. But it's not our fault. That's his damn fault. He thought he was going to get $16 million a year. The Jets gave him $13. Essentially, he ended up getting 15, just under 15 mil the first year, so he didn't do too bad. But these were his choices. Now, to come back after we cut him, he went out on the free agent market and he looked at all the other interested teams. It just so happened that the defending Super Bowl champions were interested. They offered you a $1 million contract, which was fine because you had already gotten paid. Dude, it's win-win. Good for you. You went over there, and now it's Andy Reid doesn't know how to use you. You need a defensive-minded coach. What are you even talking about? FYM. FYM, man. Fuck you mean? So, this is the type of player that Joe Douglas has no interest in. There's more to it. There's more to it than just a name leaving and a name coming. There's a deeper layer to all this. Jamal Adams, Leveon Bell, Jermaine Johnson, Darryl Roberts, Kelechi Osemele, all those guys, they're gone. Every single one of them. Interestingly, a lot of them aren't exactly having stellar careers out there. Look at Leveon Bell. He's the great example. Where did this all come from? It came from him not getting any free agent offers. I'll sign with a team when I sign one, when I'm ready, is what he said. That was where I think that was the original tweet, which I don't have in front of me. Sorry. So the original tweet was like, I'll sign with a team when I'm ready to sign with a team. I think you probably would have signed with a team if someone else was ready. More than likely, and I don't know this for a fact, but more than likely the interest is limited, to say the least. Dude, Le'Veon Bell's he's an afterthought. Don't forget, 40 new running backs came into the league this year, and then some. Just like last year and the year before. There's all sorts of young legs coming in. Le'Veon Bell has had 2 terrible years following a year where he didn't play because he made a stand about money. So most people don't even want to deal with that alone. Like, dude, get out of here. I don't want to. It's a headache. I don't want. You went and played for the Jets. It was your choice. During our worst era in history. It's your own choice. Now, we're not going to say that you're wrong, but here's where you are. With the facts, you're not wrong. Where you're wrong is talking about it now. This is called sour grapes. This is called being a wuss, being a crybaby. That's what this is. Why don't you shut up and man up and deal with the decisions that you made? On the other end of it, you're a multimillionaire, so quiet down. You did fine. But let me tell you, the ball was in your hand over 300 times. You didn't do shit with it. Now, part of that's the offensive line, part of that's the schematic issues. I get it. But you're supposed to be a Hall of Fame running back. Why do you need ideal situations, best line in the league in order to run? That's not you. That's the line. Anybody can run through a massive offensive line. Anyone. So isn't it nice, all these little things we're seeing right now, Le'Veon Bell, the last year Jamal Adams stuff, these guys kicking us, talking about our stats. Dude, all this shit, these are the ripples in the lake from the splash. That's it. It's just the last little ripples hitting the shore. That's it. Le'Veon Bell, you're gone, dude. That might as well be another lifetime. We have an entirely different organization. The only guy that was still here was Joe Douglas, and guess what? He didn't want you. He never would have given you that contract. Never. So there you have it. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about all that? Do you think Le'Veon Bell's right? I do. I think he's right by what he said. Like, the actual content of what he said is fine. Except for the fact that he said it at all. Just take it. These are my choices. I made a choice and it worked out on one end and it didn't on the other, and it is what it is. You got to throw different people under the bus, whole organizations. Andy Reid, dude. Gurus. Don't forget, he wasn't just talking about one. Now it's numerous people that are at fault for Le'Veon Bell's demise when he could have just accepted $14 million and stayed where he was. I get it, man. Hindsight's 20/20. I know. And I don't think too many people fault you for making a stand. Like, you made a stand, dude. But don't forget, not everybody that makes a stand has what they stood for work out. As a matter of fact, I would probably say most don't. So yeah, you stood out front, and sadly, nobody stood behind you. I get it. That sucks. On the back end, you made $15 million. So what is it? If you wanted to make your career if you wanted to keep your Hall of Fame trajectory, then you should have ran harder. I get it. You're older. I don't know. So there it is. That's Le'Veon Bell. I'll tell you some interesting things. This Zach Wilson kid. You saw Mike LaFleur came out and said that he was blown away by his, not willingness, but by his desire to absorb and study film. Now, look, we've heard all this stuff before. We have. And I don't want to get too excited one way or the other. But when you hear things like that, coupled with what you see, like his answers to questions are different than what we've heard around here for a long time. They're different than what we've heard around here for a long time. We haven't heard anything like the type of stuff that he's saying. Remember you guys heard the cereal and milk watching TV comment? It's brilliant. And I get it. It's like you want to get to a point where you don't have to think about that stuff. I'm not thinking about every bite. I'm not thinking about putting my scoop and getting the marshmallow. I'm just doing it while doing something else. That's what he wants to be able to do. And I get it, man. And I like it. I love the analogy. So I think, Zach Wilson, so you're hearing that he's studying film. You're seeing that his teammates are responding to him, like he's going out to the Islanders game with his offensive line. He's hanging out, going out to dinner with Elijah Moore. He's doing all the right things. He's staying around the facility. Him and 79 other New York Jets decided to come to voluntary. Dude, we have a whole different swing right now. Last year, 3 years ago, would have been like, all these reasons why. Look at the Le'Veon Bell thing again. Remember, he wouldn't show up to voluntaries. And we had to defend. It's not a big deal. It's voluntary for a reason. Blah, 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 blah. He does his own training thing. Blah, 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 blah. Remember? It was a whole thing. Adam Gase had to defend it. Don't forget, he shows me the videos before he shows you. And, dude, these are the headaches that are in the past. So I want to just say, it feels like this era, we're going to have lots of bumps. We are. But you can see that the pieces we're putting into place, even the Dan Feeney's, who was on Sirius XM last week, dude, on Jim and Pat's show, Moving the Chains, I was like, I fucking love this guy. I love him. And he loves Zach Wilson. He said everybody on the team loves him. Everybody. They love him. And even some of the press for this past couple weeks said, you know what? One thing I can tell you is the ball is hitting the ground a lot less. Now, what that means, I don't know. But it seems to be that the ball is on the ground a lot less than in previous years. Now, is that the quarterback? Is that the receivers? What does it mean? They're wearing shorts. But it's something. So I'm liking this Zach Wilson guy. I'm liking Mike LaFleur. I love the, Albrecht running around. I love the idea of drafting all these guys, the Sherwoods and the Nasruddins. I really like these guys. And I like that we're giving them to Robert Saleh and Albrecht. I like this. It feels good around the Jets right now, doesn't it? So, what do you think, guys? Are you done with the last era? What were your thoughts on this Le'Veon Bell thing? Huh? You have any thoughts? Isn't it just so stupid? But it's out there right now. I want to make sure I chimed in. But all that being said, I'm going to get on out of here. Time to go lay in bed, man. I'm done. But I hope you're having a great day. Don't forget to like and subscribe right here. Or you can see my On the Road with GreenBean's series on Jetnation's YouTube page or Jetnation.com, the most lively Jet forum on the internet, the largest independent fan site in the entire NFL. Don't forget that, man. There's a lot going on over there. And you can keep track of my my roller coaster happenings and everything going on the road, man, at Full Time Coaster Tour on YouTube or fulltimecoastertour.com. Go to the YouTube page. Give me a sub there. It would be greatly appreciated. And don't forget, you can always keep tabs on me. You can check me out on Instagram, which is GreenBeanjetsfan, or One Ride at a Time. And you can check us out on Twitter, which is Jetsfan, and Full Time Coaster Tour on Twitter as well. I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you're having a great Memorial Day weekend. It's been rainy and shitty. I hope it didn't steal too much of your joy. All right, guys. Have a great day. Go Jets.